Welcome Did You Say Something, the variety podcast show where I sit and aspire to be as good as Connor each episode and fail every time. On today's episode, we have Clint Barker and the voice actor Finding Dory to help cover up my lack of talent. We're going to be giving you an exclusive sneak peek at the project these two are going to be working on in the near future. That was all right, touche, good sir. That was pretty good from last week. We are now know that we will be ramping these up every episode. This is fantastic. All right. Great show. A little bit of an author show today, so we're going to have a read here. Clint Barker is not his name. It is Clint Baker. Or Mike Baker, if you're in the know.
Baker, yeah.
And just Dory. Not Finding Dory.
No, that was last week.
Welcome back to our show. We are doing the thing that we love to do, which is let the chaos flow, which is how Connor and I somehow became acquaintances.
Bonded?
Ooh, bonded's real strong. I don't know.
Had a mutual understanding.
Into business?
Yeah, we can go with that one.
All right,
we saw that, that was the only profitable thing about you was your humor, because we all know it's not your voice acting skills. So decided that this would be the best way to showcase you.
And it worked out mutually both ways because your narration is just shit. So you needed something else to really anchor onto. So it's mutually beneficial for sure. We both suck at the things that we want to do. So we settled for each other. You know what? I think that's enough bullshit nonsense going on. We're going to go ahead and bring up our first guest. He is Clint Barker. I actually kind of like that more. Clint Baker is a fantastic author. Met him probably about a year-ish so ago on Book Talk and was able to see some of his work and do some readings and things like that. And he impressed us and impressed me and really wanted to have him showcase his talents on a different show. So here we are. Clint, welcome on in, sir.
Hey,
Hello.
Clint.
Yep. So Grainy me is going to be Clint. When it comes in clear that I'm Clint.
I like to play on words because it's kind of like the glint off of the scope.
See, I didn't even try to do that. That's how talented I am. Step up your game.
Clint, you are falling right into place here, sir. All right, so fantastic. In all the realness, though, I do like your work, and I've been enjoying watching in the last 6 months of watching you also jump in and co-host a couple shows on TikTok that we all love to watch, and you did a phenomenal job jumping in and co-hosting those. I really do. I mean that. It's really hard to compliment you, but I do have to at least give you one.
Yeah, just keep it coming. It's really hard for you guys to compliment me. I know. You do your best.
I can do the humbling. No, I can do the humbling. It's fine because whilst obviously you were fantastic at co-hosting, you could not figure out how to cancel out your own echo. So,
yeah.
Well, when you have 14 devices hooked up to be able to record, it gets a little convoluted at times.
I know that damn echo. See, that's the real Clint. In our hearts is the echo. That is the second voice behind me.
You've got Clint and Clant.
Phenomenal. Kind of tell us about, if you would. I like. I've heard a lot about your books, and we're definitely going to talk about your books, and we'll get into one book specifically later on in the show. Tell me what started your love of writing. I mean, was it, is it 6-7 years old? Did it come later in life? And what was the inspiration?
Dude, you are almost right on track. So it was like 3rd grade when I started actually toying with writing. And I love this TV show that I can't remember. And it got canceled and I could never find it. So I was like, well, I will just write that out from scratch of what I remember. And so I was like, oh, that's something I can now I can revisit my own way. I was like, well, I really enjoy writing. So I'm just going to keep creating and writing and doing my thing. Actually, funny enough, I was in, I want to say 7th grade. I'm the reason there is now a page limit on short stories because the teacher said a short story is less than 90 pages, I think is what his exact phrases were. So I wrote him 90 pages.
Of course. That's what I heard.
You got to achieve. You got to keep going. And so he really inspired me to keep going. Mr. Wright, if you see this, Thank you for all your work. Then in college, I couldn't get away from it. That's all I wanted to do. Every time I had a chance to like do a creative project, it would just be like, oh, let's throw a short story at it. So I had to show my understanding. I wrote a Baba Yaga story for a theory class because she's like, show me that you know this stuff. So it'd be like, I wrote the short story, and then I had all my explanations of why I made certain decisions, which fit into the theory class. And then right after college, I started working on The Worshipped Around Reality's Bend. More seriously, I wrote book 5 in college, actually.
Okay.
So I was like, no, we need to start with book 1. Yeah. So I wrote book 1. Well, no one knew. It was my characters. No one knew them. I have to introduce everybody. So book 1 got out. I considered it a success. I wanted to sell 100 copies on launch, and then just slowly start selling. And then I sold 125 in pre-orders alone. So
Nice.
Yeah. That was a lot of. That was just oh my god, amazing feeling. Yeah, and now we're working on book 2. Book 3 is mostly written. Book 4 is plotted, and of course, book 5's written. Just need to do some editing. And the book I brought to you guys today is Mr. Candle's book.
Yes, which we will definitely get some more information on that. So is that what you studied in college then? Was it writing or what did you actually go to college for and you wrote on the side?
So I went to college for English, and then I double minored in humanities and diversity and anthropology.
Okay.
The humanities and diversity was itself partially. But one of the reasons I did that was like, that's going to be a mouthful and it's going to confuse people. Because like, whoa, that's going to be three minors. And now that I did it, I'm like, oh God, this is a nightmare to keep saying. But I'm very proud of it because I was one of the first students to actually get their humanities and diversity minor. Me and 2 other people
Congratulations.
at my college. Thank you.
And that also makes sense because you also have another project that you have just destroyed yourself with, having to say the name of it every time you have to say the name of it.
Valens Florilegium.
There you go.
It's gotten so bad that every time, hey, what's that project? I before they even can like start to pronounce it, I just go Valens Florilegium. Valens Florilegium.
Valens Florilegium.
Florilegium.
Just it's a little much for you, Connor. Don't hurt yourself. Whatever. You're the one who can't even speak in the beginning. I'm not trying to throw complex things at you. I'm trying to help you, you dick.
Thank you.
But no, that one I think I coined on one of the interview shows. I had said just that one that Clint wrote. And everybody knows it's that project because no damned human other than you and all of your practice can say that. I'm not even going to attempt it. Why?
No, you kind of have to.
A guy by the name of Eric Eisen came up with it. He's the original founder. Me, him, and I can't remember the other gal's name. She left after season 2.
Gotcha.
We all started it, and when he said this is going to be our thing, I said no, we can't. We figure something else out. I'd rather basic anthology than that nightmare. And it stuck. And the more I'm part of it, the more I love it because we kind of just do our thing.
Yeah. So,
Stop looking at me.
Yeah.
I know you aspire to be like me on these shows, and that's fine. Thank you very much for that intro and that confession. But you don't need to stare at me, Matt. We have guests.
I know the romance is getting kind of hot and heavy here.
It was more
just the temperature. It's really warm.
Things were rising in your booth.
I don't know. Sure, I don't know what you're on about.
It was very distracting.
Boy.
Clint, let's talk about just renaming that to FA.
FA?
Yeah, we'll just call it that.
Yeah.
So, Connor, God damn it, it's like having a fucking toddler again. He's about the size
what
of
did I do?
So it's actually fitting.
Hey, there's no need for that. There's every need for that. That's fair. That's the whole point of the show. Yeah.
That's like, what are you
At least
about?
I still have a full head of hair.
Wow, low blow.
That's all I can do because I'm short, Clint.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for filling that in.
at least I can go to amusement park and ride all the rides. So
Oh, man.
they don't care about baldness.
It's pretty nice not needing a booster seat too.
Yeah, that does get in the way when I'm driving.
Yeah, that's you can't say phone book anymore because kids have no freaking idea what a phone book is.
No, they don't.
No clue.
It's a doorstop.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's worthless because I don't know.
It was a step ladder.
There are very few people who actually have a landline anymore. Also, so
yeah, I remember seeing a video somewhere of one of those youths saying about it would be really helpful if you could get a phone that was just in the house for everybody to use. And it's like, oh, we've come full circle back to landlines. Good.
everything comes around. It's pretty cool to have my son is a skater and all that, right? And skates around and listens to similar music and looks almost identical to what I looked like 25, 30 years ago when I was skating around. And right.
Oh.
And no, I don't disagree with you at all. I'm just getting a new look. No, but like seriously, like same jeans, same exact, like very, very typical look. And then, he tells me that I dress out of date. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm wearing the same shit you are. What are you talking about? Yeah, so everything does come full circle, especially stylistic and stuff like that. And we do see that to bring this back around in books and writing and things like that too, where I know, Clint, you like to do a lot of research in your books. And I know that you like to research a lot of history and you get very deep into that. And I like that because I think one of the coolest things is when people don't realize how much they actually create as to what actually gets publicized, right? So, for instance, a musician will do 50 tracks for an album and 12 make the album. And most of those other tracks never see the light of day until they release some secret mix or something. So I know that with authors and writing, a lot of that happens too. There's a lot of stories that get started and going and then like whatever, they die or something happens in life and it moves on, or you get a new spark idea and the story just 90s another direction, right? You know what I mean? And you change it. So how do you feel? What would you say? What is your biggest tie-in in one of your books to the past or to a past literature, to be specific?
Dude. So I would have to say more is like my stuff right now is more mythology. So having book 2 coming out here this October, I do like a big tie-in with the Great Flood that we see in a lot of religions and mythology, and then the Great War in the Heaven as well. And I think those are going to be my 2 biggest right now, especially with the tropes that I'm trying to do. Yeah, because I play around a lot with how I think reality and time and memory affect each other. And I'm starting to bring that up to light. And then with book 3, that's when I started really getting into history, because a lot of my stuff that I do is one of my characters offers people immortality, right? And so when I'm looking at somebody who would be really cool, I have to actually consider, would they accept immortality or would they be considered? One of those was Genghis Khan, because I love Genghis Khan. Like well, not what he did, but just like his
Hold up.
Hold on,
but
everybody.
just
TSA,
like
that was Clint.
That was a Clint.
That was Clint.
That was a Clantism.
Corrected.
Clantism.
Clint loves horrible figures. Clint loves just the history of them. But no, just I mean, how prolific and world changing that dude was, as horrible as he was. Just seeing all those dynamics.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, he probably would, but he probably shouldn't be a person to get almost unlimited power. So we're gonna put him to the side.
Yeah, I love that idea of that character, though, of like even just that one specific character being able to offer that. You know what I mean? To basically to anybody, and then you have this ability to go like, how do I feel today about who gets this? And then obviously the ramifications that happen after that is huge. But the best part of it is you get to take relatable content that people know and then just twist it, right? And really throw your own arc on it. And I really enjoy that. I think that stuff is cool. I love mixing reality with fantasy, right?
One of my favorite things to do is to find people that had a lot of, I don't know, like, what's the word for it? Like Joan of Arc, where she was said to have a lot of visions. Find people like that and throw them in, because especially with so Joan of Arc was said to be speaking to angels and to God. So having me writing about mythology and stories and religion and stuff, that's perfect. And how would they fit in? What if they actually accompanied it or witnessed it? And then how would that play out?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Premonitions? Is that the word?
What?
Premonitions? Is that the word?
Premonitions is like what an oracle would do. Right? Like
See,
prophecies.
Well, what you've done here is you've triggered my brain, and I'm not going to be able to let it go until I find that fucking word. So,
well, I'll tell you what. Yell it out when you remember it.
I will do.
But hold on, hold on. I'm going to one up you. When you remember it, you have to find the most inappropriate time to put it in there.
Oh, he's the king of inappropriate timing.
Yeah, there you go.
Done. That's not even a challenge.
Good is that where we just witnessed Connor actually firing off one brain cell to get that out.
It looked like it was working overtime. I didn't want to say anything, but
no, I was.
You go right ahead, sir. You clamp that up.
I'm gonna go ahead and just mute my mic.
That was the cell.
Because I don't want the click clacks in the background.
Clackety clicks.
Are you tap dancing? I mean, your feet probably dangle off the chair, so I can imagine the tappity tap tap. Love ya.
Right. No, hold on. You're right, but you're out of line.
No. I need a picture of this. That has to go on the cover of this.
No, it's not. I mean, no, my feet touch the ground. Fuck you.
Like
making me doubt myself.
The way you look down to check. Hold on. Yeah, they touch.
Yeah. We're good.
The fact that you had to check tells us everything we need to know.
Shut up, guys.
Enough of Clint. Let's find Dori.
We will have his revenge
if we can.
Let's find Dori. Nice. I think so. Go ahead and.
We got a Dori. All right, there we go.
Found.
She made it.
Looking like a Kraken video, but hey, I'm here.
Nah, you're all good, Dori. Welcome to the
You're
show.
All good. Love the color of the t-shirt as well.
Well,
Yeah, I'm glad you guys called each other.
Yeah. Notice how I didn't call you?
I prefer it.
Damn it! I fucking walked into that one. I got nothing.
Don't fucking talk to me unless you have to. We've established this shit.
See, and he set that bar low too, so you pretty much had no choice but to walk into it.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I have to set it really low because he's just a little guy. He can't get up to the higher bars. Man, this is a good theme going on here. So
this is my favorite episode so far.
So Dori, I actually I have known you almost since the very beginning of my voiceover journey. If I don't know if you remember it or not, but I remember you are the first or second person to ever comment on one of my duets with Joe McKenzie. And you continue.
Oh, that guy? Ugh.
And you continue. I know. That's how we talk about our business partners. You have continued to support me, and I think that's fantastic. And no matter what, you're always there. And then I really started to notice how much you support everyone. and you are very positive and try to really bring people up and help people shine. And while you're at the same time bringing yourself up and doing your own thing, and it's admirable, because unfortunately in this day and age, not enough people are doing that. Again, on the serious note, a big reason why we do this show is we love the people in the community that bring each other up. And it's, if I'm going to make it, then we're all going to make it. You know what I mean? If I have anything to say about it, it's very cool just to see your support of the community, and then we get to see all of your awesome voiceover work on top of that, because you are a phenomenal voice actor. So I just have to say, everything you do, the voices, the characters, the narration, just very, very good. Hence why we have Clint here. But we will get into that. We will get into that in a moment. So one thing I've never got to hear that I've always been very curious is, how did you get started with voiceover?
Well, first of all, thank you. I remember many of the duets that we have done with Joe, and one of those videos is actually celebrating its 2-year anniversary today, where we're all just like, this is why I do this. But I started about 2-3 years ago. I am a COVID voice actor.
Me too.
Represent.
So that's not the excuse. That's not the reason you're so bad, then, Matt. Because obviously Dori, same time, she can do things you can't. I always put it down to the fact that it was COVID that you just started getting into this, but clearly that's not the reason.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Not to you, about you.
Okay, all right. Dori, please continue after you were so rudely interrupted.
I'm a COVID voice actor. That's when I first started. But as my mama likes to say, I can talk the ears off a statue. I am a rapid fire speaker. I have to slow down and breathe and try not to blast out people's eardrums when I get really excited. This manifested in school, where we had a play where we were doing African folk tales, and I got selected as the storyteller, and so I had to tell all the stories while the other kids were different animals, and my mom wrapped me in a kente cloth and did all that. And then I got to do a play when I did my singular year in the actual college setting, because I don't like it. But I got to play a detective by the name of Dana Goodwin in a play called City of Devils. And I had auditioned for the mayor and was rejected for that. But the writer and director of the play, who was a senior in the theater program, really liked my attitude and stance. And so he took his character, turned him into a woman, and stuck me in it. And so I got to become, so I got to be a hard-boiled lesbian detective. It was great. And but living in the South before things went remote, and being a POC, you did not have the option, because Atlanta wasn't a big thing yet in the entertainment field. So, I didn't know anyone in California. I didn't know anyone in New York. So that was shunted off to the side. And then I was speaking to one of my friends who does like Twitch and voice acting and stuff. And, although life is always lifing, they were still chasing after their dream. And they were younger than me. And I was like, where's my drive? Because this is ridiculous. Because, I was so impressed with them that I was like, you know what? And I took the plunge, and I haven't looked back since.
Good.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
For reals. It's journeys like that are pretty cool. I love hearing how the journey transforms. You know what I mean? I think everybody has where their plans kind of originally started, and then life happens, and time shifts and timelines and things like that. You know, if I would have made this decision, I would have gone this way. If this, you know, would have went that way, it would have not. And I would like to think hopefully most of us are good with where we're at, except for Connor. He's just taken every wrong turn possible. Except for this one. He's finally got his life back on track. And I'm happy that I am able to father him and really give him that guidance.
Yeah. Cool. Schizophrenia, was that the thing, Clint? That apparently that's what she had. I don't know. Joan of Arc.
Yeah, that was the thing that they assumed.
Oh God!
Because the way she talked about it.
We are not talking to Clint right now. We are talking to Dori. Your brain really is one-tracked.
It would not let go of that until, yeah.
It was funny. I was talking to my mom the other day, and she was like, you know, listening to you do this voice acting stuff has really like changed my perspective, because I used to like hear cartoon characters and video games characters and stuff, and I was just like, oh, that's a cute little voice and stuff. But now I'm actually starting to see them as people, because you sit there and you talk about all this stuff that's going on with it, and I'm like, that's a person doing this.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. There's a hilarious bit, if you guys have not seen it, from Pete Holmes about that, about voice actors, and that's what he says. Is he's like, you realize, Clint, you know what I'm talking about? I think you've seen it. Where he's like, that's a person doing that, and then when he gets in, he gets all the way through it, and to realize, and he's like, all right, fight. It's like, all right, was that a good take? Was that good? No, yeah, do you need another one? But still realizing that, yeah, almost nowadays, but should be every voice you hear is a human being in a booth, homemade or in a studio or doing something, right? And I don't think I always knew it myself as being a fan of Kevin Conroy since I was a kid, just because Batman is one of my favorites. But I loved his voice specifically, and I always wanted to know who does that voice. And then once I kind of saw that, him and Peter Cullen, and watching what they do in the booth was just insanity to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, you look nothing like I thought you would have looked like, right? Like Kevin Conroy, I was like, what? You know what I mean? Did not have anything of what I thought he was going to look like at all. Same with Peter Cullen.
No, I thought he was Batman. So
yeah, right. And then Peter Cullen, I'm like, this is this Luigi? Right, in real life, right? But it's so awesome, right? That you can do all these amazing things with our voices, and either choose to be seen or choose to not be seen, right? Some of the biggest voice actors and voiceover artists, you don't even know who they are, right? Unless you really do some research and really look. And a lot of them don't want to be famous. They don't want their face anywhere. Right.
No.
And it's a great profession for it. But I think what COVID did for a lot of us, and as you know, three of us are sitting here as byproducts of the pandemic and finding this passion, right, or refinding a passion and drive, has really opened up that door. Now, yes, is the market saturated now? Yes, absolutely. With voice actors, you know, it is that much harder to get a gig. But at the same time, now you have all these other creators that want new voice actors, that want indie voice actors, such as Joe McKenzie, such as the things, you know, that Bewilder Biscuit is doing with not working with the big five in comic books or in books, right? With going with indie creators and indie product and making sure that we're getting all of the people who never got any recognition before some damn recognition, because I've heard some amazing talent, Dori, yourself included, that are right up there, that should be on the shows and in the animations and reading the books
100%.
and doing those, that put on fantastic performances that unfortunately, without social media, TikTok, the things of how a lot of us met, right, would never see the light of day. So there are some silver linings, of course, to a pandemic, right, and how it was handled. Okay, so let's move on. Clint, let's go back to you here. I think it's Clint right now.
If it's blurry, it's Clant.
It's Clint.
There's an echo. It's Clant.
Hey, Clint.
There is no echo.
If everything's perfect, it's Clint.
Okay, Clint, can you fuck off a bit? I got to talk to Clint for a second.
Not the wiggle.
No, so let's go ahead. Why don't you go ahead talk to us about the book that Dori is going to be reading today, and give us a little insight. Not too much, not too many spoilers, right? But give us a good idea of it, and then we will set up for Dori to narrate for us.
So Mr. Candle's book is somewhat up in the air right now. I'm trying to traditionally publish it, and I should be hearing back here in hopefully a couple weeks. They gave me a deadline for when I can start bothering. But if they don't, then I'll be streamlining this hopefully for Christmas, just because it's ready, and then get Dori on this. Mr. Candle's book takes place after a supposed World War III. Where the nukes fall and the poles switch and just snow starts pouring. So think like Snowpiercer's world, where there's just ungodly amounts of snow. During that, Mr. Candle is the last of the candles. He accrues everybody's fortunes, and he just has an insane amount of wealth. And him being him, he says, I don't want this to go to the government. What can I do to give this to the world? He's like, all right, whoever can figure out what my favorite book is will receive the entirety of my fortune. And he has all these sets of rules for it and ways in which it was voided. And if it is voided, what happens, so on and so forth. And everybody rushes there, and everybody from every walk of life goes to the Candle Mansion and tries to figure it out. And when you walk into this mansion, it is just walls upon walls and rooms upon rooms of books. And yep. And there you have like the effects of radiation playing, affecting people. You have the outside world. You have vets that from the Third World War. You have tools from the Third World War that come into effect. And it is just an awesome world that just gets layered and layered.
That sounds awesome. I love the idea of that. The whole,
I get lost in these in my descriptions.
No, you should. If you're not passionate about your work, what the fuck are you doing? Right? I mean, honestly, right? You should be able to talk about it on and on and on and on like that.
I know it's so hard not to just ramble and go.
So what I'm hearing is next.
The whole time I was telling myself, "Slow down, dude. You're all right."
So what I'm hearing is our next Dis episode, we're going to get you on and just go.
I got the whole hour. I'll just tell you the whole plot.
Fantastic.
It'll be. We need a filler. All right, Clint, go.
That is the best you've ever looked. He's back.
I don't know why, but you're frozen.
Don't do it. Who, me? Yeah, you. I knew it was coming.
Connor has looked right there.
Yeah, but you notice how I've got a nice professional looking picture there? Yeah.
What happened to the beard?
Your beard is not that luscious.
My beard has never looked that good. I can't grow a beard.
Hold on, wait. If you had that beard.
That's a beard?
I don't know.
False advertising. False advertising.
We need to make a new word.
Facial fungus.
Scrubble.
Scrubble. Oh, yes. I love it.
You could say he has a clamp about his face.
Clamp life.
But it's okay, Connor. I can't grow a beard either. It's just.
I reckon you could probably grow more than I could.
was going to say, yours looks better than his, Dori.
Yeah, but it's.
Which is non-existent. Clant, easy. Right.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're about to lose a narrator. All right.
Clint was going for my throat.
Yeah. No, I was going for Connor's.
Well, you got to reach.
Not yours.
You got to go low.
Not poor Dori.
You got to reach real low for the throat. He's not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
a childlike demeanor.
No, just his size. Just he's like 4'2".
That's giving me some extra inches. Thanks.
Well, see, if you like compare his head to the squares in the back, I would have picked him like maybe like a high 3 feet.
I mean, I'm stood up right now.
I'm fully standing.
Hey, let me go on tiptoes. Hold on.
We're gonna have to know you because I'm going to.
Oh God, this is the good shit. All right, so I tell you what, there's nothing like after a long shitty day at work just to come and just bag on Connor. It is a great pastime.
It's what I'm here for. But I mean, isn't that also one of the reasons that we wanted to do this was so that after a shitty day we can come and we can just chat shit. That's what that I know I've said it before, but that's what started this whole idea. Was after a shitty day was jumping onto a Discord call and meeting this fucking idiot and just going, actually, you know what? He's kind of good people. Like, you can have a laugh. And then we continued to have a laugh, and then we were like, what about a podcast? We could do this as a podcast. Oh my God, we could. And here we are. And then it was like, well, you know what? Let's bring some people into this so we can spread in this fucking break from reality and everything that is shit about it. And then we can record it, and then we can give that out to the community and people out in the wider world, and hopefully they get a break from reality just listening to us just fuck around for an hour or an hour and a bit. Whilst also learning about the voiceover community, whilst also learning about some new books, whilst also learning about this, that, and the other. I got you. And yeah, and you know what? I fucking, even if this doesn't actually go anywhere, I still plan on doing it because it's just, it's nice to take a break.
Let's cut this off. All right, so that's so much better. Okay, so, all right, we'll give you guys, Dori, we'll give you a little bit to compose yourself, and then we will mute, and we will let you go ahead and get on with your read. So take it away.
From Mr. Kendall's book, 8 years prior. Ignatius Mold greeted Mr. Scale. His white hair and pale skin told of the disease that tore at him. His gait was more of a hobble than a walk as shuffled closer to the clerk. No one over 30, Mr. Scale said. Oh. Ignatius patted his coat until he found his wallet. He pulled out his ID as well as the withering disease card that told about the ailment. Mr. Scale looked the documents over. That is my mistake. I will make note to not make that assumption anymore. Purpose? To find a cure of that disease before it takes me, Ignatius said. Right. Here you go. A card popped out into Mr. Scale's hand. He handed it to Ignatius, who took it with gratitude. His smile grew with every step until he reached the neutral zone. Seeing the coin, he marched straight up to the aging woman. Hello, ma'am, he said. I am Ignatius Mold. I came here to find a book or two. Can you point me in the right direction? Mrs. Coin laughed. My, you are a boisterous one. I don't know where the book is, I'm afraid. You could try looking for help from some of the other searchers, or just start by bringing me books you think would be it. What do you think the book is? Ignatius asked. Mrs. Coin pursed her lips. She hadn't been asked that question yet. It would have to be something no one would expect. He was a kind old man who loved the smaller things in life. He liked the things hardly anyone took the time to appreciate, like toast. That man loved toast. Thank you very much, Ignatius said. He made his way to the community map. With each passing person, he greeted them with a large smile and introduced himself. They would give a sheepish grin and say that it was nice to meet him, but refused to return their names. At the map, he put a hand on both hips. Where to next? 3 months later, Ignatius had created a small name for himself. Besides his pleasantries, he was known for repeating himself in conversation as well as having an unworldly knowledge of the Candle Mansion. He would ramble about books he read, but would speak of patterns in the walls. Some took it as a sign that he was on the right track, but didn't have the know-how to find what he had seen. On one occasion, Ignatius told a man, short and strong, by the name of Miguel Estrada, that the secret lied in the tunnels. The man had assumed that it meant that they were supposed to connect the other parts of the property, and the man would take it upon himself to dig tunnels through the snow to the gardens and then elsewhere. Ignatius was on the top floor of this particular day. He was sure he searched Mr. Candle's bedroom, but had to find his note to be sure. He found the book, Tunneling for Stupids, and opened it up to the first page. Sure enough, his note was in the first page. Tunnels, he said to himself. Why tunnels? Tunnels, it has something to do with tunnels. Where can I find who? He rubbed the back of his skull with the palm of his hand. When he brought it back down, he saw the bandages wrapped around the stubs of his index and middle fingers. He unwrapped them to see that his fingers had been nearly healed. He determined that it was fine to take the bandages off all of the way. He sat at the edge of Mr. Candle's bed. The blankets tightened around his rear, revealing their true colors under the dust. Now, where have you two gone? A memory rushed to the back of his memory. That's right. They are where the overdoers go. He got up and traveled to a bookshelf. He pressed the button he had found at this point several times. The bookshelf released from the wall where he was able to pull it back. A metal plate covered the wall with "Not Here" written in his handwriting. The action was far too gone in his memory. He wondered about how long ago he had written those words for himself. He hoped he would remember them this time. He put the books he had collected on that floor in his bag. He closed the wall again, then walked back to Mrs. Coyne. Mrs. Coyne regarded him with a large smile. His troubled expression met hers. What is the matter, dear? When did I lose my fingers? He asked. You said you closed them in a bookshelf running from those overdoers, she explained. This didn't sit with Ignatius too well. Despite his feelings, he handed his books over as well as his card. A 3 popped up for the first one, then a 2. Ignatius shook his head at the second one. Please, what was that book? He asked. I don't remember what I brought back. Mrs. Coyne stopped herself from sending the book to the levels. She sighed and shook her head. Take them. I shouldn't do this. It's against the rules, but I don't think it is fair for someone in your situation to be stuck like this. Mrs. Coyne, he said, taking the books with gratitude, you are a saint of a woman. Ignatius's face drew a blank. His confusion seeped through. Do you know what happened to my fingers? Mrs. Coyne choked back a sob. She had seen so many like Ignatius. The deteriorating diseases that came after the war brought many who wanted a way to cure their ailment. You smashed them in a bookshelf, getting away from some overdoers. Right, he said. Thank you. Well, I suppose we should check these. You just did, dear. She tapped one, then the other. 3, 2. You're so close. Thank you, Mrs. Coyne, Ignatius said with some clarity. You are a saint of a woman. You know that? So I've been told, she said. 2 months later, Ignatius wrote down a note in one of the 2 books Mrs. Coyne let him keep. In the 3 was his name written followed by a 3. In the 2 were his notes about what he thought the book would be close to. The book he just found was a woodworking novel by a female author. It was a detailed description of all tricks one can do with wood. It was scribbled with his own notes. Most were question marks about their journey and button hiding. Ignatius Mold, he told himself as he thumbed through the pages. I am Ignatius Mold. He found a page that caught his eye. It was a description on how to hide seams in wooden carvings. He remembered seeing a room full of statues. One of the few rooms he actually remembered. He took out his pen to write. Check statues on bottom floor. Ignatius Mold. Right, he said. That's who I am. He rubbed his eyes with his thumb. Confused, he looked down at his hand where 2 fingers were gone. He focused on them as he tried to remember where they went. Overdoers, behind shelf. That's right. He turned back to the pages where he just wrote. He wrote the note out loud. Check statues on bottom floor. Ignatius Mold. Well, he sounds nice. He followed the stranger's advice. He made his way to the statue room. When inside, he stood for a second to ask himself why he came in here. He remembered the note and pulled it out. He realized that the page was written on a section about hiding seams in wood. That might be it. He went to work looking for the slightest fault in each statue. At the auk, he found the piece he was looking for. It released, revealing a rope. He pulled it back and then the auk. Behind was a book he had never seen before. He took it from its pedestal. That's a small-time publisher, he said. He thumbed the pages. It was obvious that it had been read several times over. Might as well check. Ignatius pushed the auk back to its spot. It snapped back in place as if it had never been moved. He left the room and shut the door with a silent creak. Now, what was I doing? He scratched his chin. He tried to rub the memory back into his head. An image caught his attention. He turned to it. An overdoer breathed heavy. It stared a hole through Ignatius as it decided what to do. It looked at one hand, then the other. Book? No book here, Ignatius said. The overdoer shook his head. It patted the side of a bookshelf until it found the spot it was looking for. It pulled back the bookshelf and jumped down. The bookshelf started to close itself before Ignatius ran up to catch it. Find me where the overdoers go. This must be what Ignatius was talking about. I would like to meet him one of these days. He stepped inside and shut the shelf behind him. And end.
I knew I picked the right person.
Connor.
Clint, that's so dirty. That is so dirty. Oh my God.
That was good. You did good.
Yeah, that was,
we get it?
That was amazing.
It was fantastic.
Cool.
We love you,
okay?
Corey.
Oh, poor Ignatius. Oh my God, that was filthy.
Yeah, there's a lot. So it's very cool. So Dori, please, I want you to please continue with your initial reaction because you clearly have not read this. So I would please continue with, since you're going to be narrating it. Please continue with your thought process right now.
Oh, that was hurtful. Oh, that was just straight hurtful. He was so close. He had it. He was there. And then he just fucking forgot. Oh.
Yep. And so little thing is everybody, all the main characters of this book are following Ignatius's footsteps. So there's like a lot of
so they're trying to figure out.
If you read the book, it all starts to go together, and then that's like the halfway point is what you just read.
I am offended on his behalf. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reading this for the first time, it was I had the exact same feelings as you're feeling right now. It was just like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Clint.
Hands.
I
Hands.
know.
I'm throwing hands. It's on site.
Like hearing your voice too, like go through it.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, my heart was like pounding, and then I felt my tears come, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember what I was feeling at that moment.
It was cool to watch. There were certain points, Dori, and you definitely showcased your range of voices and characters there, which is, and even in being something that you haven't read before, watching and feeling and listening to the emotions of Ignatius from the points of the very few little finite points of clarity he has versus the fog versus everything else that's going on around him, and you captured that very, very well. And the cool thing about watching is we get to watch the author and we got to watch Clint like respond to certain things that you did, and there was one, the way you creaked out book.
Yeah.
Got all three of us. Like Clint popped his head up and was like, "Oh yeah!" Like
I was like, "That's perfect."
it was because you took this certain tone that you were having, and then all of a sudden you just bam cut the room, and then brought it all slamming back with the next line right back to it, and it was just very good job. That was very enjoyable.
I looked up from my Switch for it, so it must have been good.
Clint, that writing, I felt a lot of emotions. Or like, even to the point where there was one point where I clearly hadn't got it yet. And I was like, because you'll see it in the video too, because I'm like, wait a minute, 1 + 1 is 2. Wait, but now we're back here again. What the fuck is happening? Is he nuts? And I was like, oh, like the realization dawned on me. And then as I'm watching and I'm listening to Dori go through it and through it again, I'm like, this is brilliant writing. This is really like, because you really think it's going to take you in a certain direction, and it just doesn't. And then you just get shit on, and then he gets really close again, and then you just get shit on harder, and then he gets so damn close, like Dori was saying. It's like he's right there, and then he just gets knocked off a cliff, and you're like, son of a poor man, Clint, you're an asshole. So I can say, but what I love about that, and I mean that in the most endearing way, honestly, because you gripped the reader. You know what I mean, and really got a hold of us. Especially as narrators, and these two can attest to this, it is hard to narrate something that does not grab you as the narrator.
Yes.
It is hard to narrate things that you cannot relate with or it doesn't make you feel. And immediately, and the more that Dori got into that, you could tell the more she was falling into feelings, and she was feeling a certain sort of way about it. And the nice thing about that is that was starting to be portrayed in her work, in the read and the character and all of that. So I will say some of the best books that I've read and auditioned for, and even the one that I did narrate, I was like, there's parts where you can tell, and then that's going to make your narrator be that much better, but it's just a compliment to the writing. So very well done, sir.
Yeah. This is what whenever somebody says, oh my God, you read that so well. And it's like, well, it's only because it was written well. Like if it's written poorly, I struggle. I really struggled to connect with it. And like you said, Matt, the way that as Dori, you were reading that, like when you, because everybody's a little bit vain, you'll probably watch this episode back going, how did I do? And you're going to watch this back and you'll just see yourself fall into it. Like there's not a specific moment where it's like it clicked and you got it. It's just a gradual, gentle descend into this. And I can't wait to fucking hear you do this properly.
I am so excited to do this in full. Clint just has a way of gripping you. And I went through your emotions where it's like, okay, we're in this, to wait a minute, what's going on, to oh no, please don't, to oh you did, oh it was I felt for him so hard in those few pages. And if I'm feeling a certain kind of way with just those few pages, that from cover to cover is going to be a ride.
Yeah, and like Clint said, if this is the middle, imagine how you feel about it. Now get the whole lead up, and then when you perform this again, then you're going to have that much more context and craziness coming at you. Go ahead, Clint.
Fucking good luck, Dory.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, imagine like all my characters going up to this point and why I put it there too.
Yeah, it's a damn fine story, Clint. Just from that little excerpt, and like that really interested me to want to pick up that book. And I think you have hit the nail on the head with Dori. I think she's really grasping your writing in her performance. And Dori, you're amazing. You are amazing. I think this is a sweet match that you guys are going to have with this book. I think it's going to be phenomenal. Very, very good show, you guys. Let's go through. We're going to start with Dori. We're going to have you just give where people can find you, where your stuff's at, where they can check you out. And then Clint, we'll move to you.
All right. Well, I am Dori Lady Dragonflame Murdock. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz. I am to be the narrator for Mr. Candle's book. And you can also hear me as part of the TTRPG Public Access Podcast.
Awesome. Thank you. Clint
Baker. I can't say you can find me in the link in my bio because this is going to be on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and clintbakerstories.com if you want just a quick little catch-all for me. And check out The Worshipped Around Reality's Bend, Book 1, soon to be an audio drama, and also to be narrated soon as well. And Book 2 will be out this October 18th if this makes it in time.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Again, fantastic. Thank you guys so much for being on the show.
I'm still here.
Matt, one job.
I wanted Clint out of here too. It's fine. We both went for Clint.
Clint.
Awesome.
Well, that was there's an exclusive for you guys because this should hopefully come out before the audiobook, and there's a little teaser for you of what you can expect. Very excellently read by Dori and excellent writing by Clint, Mike. That guy. Take your pick. That was a good episode. I enjoyed that.
Yes. Yeah, good stuff. And thank you always. God damn it, Connor, not yet. We're not done yet. Jesus.
Sorry.
Right, so almost done. We'll let the kid play in a second. So thank you all again for joining us here on this podcast. Please continue to look for us in all the places that you get your podcasts. And we will dish you next time.
Dish you later.